This is the canon.
Well, up until 2021. After that, it just all went to crap.
Oh. It didn't always used to be a 10 list.
No, it wasn't always 10.
Wasn't always 10?
It used to be 9, and then I was able to finagle a 10th. Because
Colin is responsible for the 10.
I don't think we did it on opening night. And then there was one year that Noah came to me and it's like, I made a mistake. I invited Bruce LaBruce's film, Raspberry Reich. Can you put it in midnight? I'm like, well, that would mean we have 10 films. So
Bruce LaBruce and yourself in your shrewd negotiation.
Exactly.
Is how we have 10 midnight films. I love it.
Because I was looking at one and it was just like, what was it? It was like Xiao Po Long, SPL, which is also known as Killzone. I'm like,
that's the first.
That was 2005.
That's the first midnight I ever went to as well.
Oh, really? That was the first.
Yeah, that was because I kept getting kicked out. I was underage.
Yeah.
But that was the first one that I was allowed.
No, Peter, you can't come into Raspberry Reich. Sorry. No. Although Raspberry Reich, I will say that one was so. I think the diehard Midnight Madness audience were like, and the straight cis male audience were like, what? Because there's like hardcore gay sex in it, and all this like, why did you pick that? Why did you pick that? And I'm like, I didn't write the note. Like Noah wrote the note. So that was really funny.
I think the other thing I observe, because I remember one thing you often drilled into me is that like midnight is not just a horror section. And when you look at this lineup and every year, like it is such a diverse lineup of films. It's not just 10 horror films or 9 horror films in a row.
That's always something that I kind of had to not lobby against, but just let people know. Like, it's not just horror films. It's not just all wild extreme films. There's kind of a nuance. Sometimes it was like programming it was like being a DJ. The scheduling needed some finesse. Some films are world premieres. Some films the director can't come until this point. They're like back and forth. And I don't want to have like horror film. I want to, and some films will play great on a Saturday, not so great on a Tuesday. So there's like kind of an ebb and flow that you've got to do with that. And then the other thing too is a lot of people come dressed as like their favorite characters from the movies. Like, no. No one knows what these movies, like this is not Comic-Con, this is not cosplay. And as much as people are like, oh, Midnight Madness has like the wildest audiences, they're also the best audiences because as soon as the film starts, everyone goes quiet. Everyone is into the film.
They're locked in.
They're locked in, yeah. And if you get someone who like kind of yells something out, they're out.
Yeah.
Like the audience will shut that person down.
But when the movie wants them to laugh, when the movie wants them to gasp, when the movie wants them to scream, the audience is also so generous in that respect. Like they're willing to meet the audience where the movie wants them to be.
Exactly. Yeah. Back to Noah and back to Noah's tastes. He wanted Midnight to be kind of wild and transgressive and underground, and you can see it through all this stuff from like.
I mean, the first year it's half music docs and half.
Well, the first year technically wasn't all his.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
I think the first year was kind of more of a committee programming from the other programmers. But you've got like Tokyo Decadence, Man Bites Dog, Tetsuo, A Romper Stomper. Like all of these are like really heavy hitting, transgressive films.
I mean, he has a hentai film in 1989.
Oh yeah,
of the Overfiend. that might be.
Let's not go there. When Noah started Midnight Madness, it was kind of like with a collective of the other programmers. And they realized that there were a number of films which kind of weren't deemed worthy for festivals or regular films for festivals. And so these were like concert films, black comedies, horror films. And so it was about carving this space for these films to play. And also, too, to introduce a new audience into the festival. Because when you look at the festival, it's daunting. There's just so many films. But everyone can understand an action film, everyone can understand a comedy, everyone can understand a horror film. And so we get this audience in, and then kind of like, oh, wait, there's other stuff outside
It's
of
the
Midnight.
perfect gateway section. And that really has functioned like that. It functions that for me. I mean, I started at midnight and then I gravitated to some of the other sections afterwards. Because you're in line and someone goes, oh, I saw this today. It's like, oh, well, I might go see that tomorrow, the second screening.
Yeah, my first year in Midnight Madness was also my first week in Toronto for college. And it was at the Bloor. I was living on like Manning in the Annex. It was perfect. So I saw Brain Damage, Frank Henenlotter's Brain Damage, and Hellbound, Hellraiser 2. The audiences were wild there, like for the first year, because it was just like, it was billed as like, it was like a rock and roll drug party. It was like the energy, and we're talking about the old Bloor, okay? The old Bloor cinema, which just had so much just rich patina, for lack of a better word. Then I think I started seeing things in the rest of the festival, just kind of branching out and like, oh wait, I can see this, and it just like slowly grew until like I think the next year I just somehow was able to skip off of most of my school duties just to see films at TIFF. So I was very kind of aware of the stuff that he did, and I remember anytime I was going to select a film, because the first year we were co-programmers, and the second year he gave it to me fully. So that was like 97, I was co-programmer, and then 98, it was my baby. And I'd always like, oh, well, check this out, Noah, check this out. And at a certain point, it's like, you've got carte blanche. This is your section. I'm not going to approve anything. Go with what you want to pick. And it did take me a little while to kind of get my own footing there, to kind of like understand, like, okay, you have to kind of play this delicate balance of like, okay, I like this. Is the audience going to like this? Because you know what plays with the audience.
Also, what does the industry want to see there too?
No,
never.
So that's the thing. I did not. Yeah, you're gonna want to strike that from the record.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, no, but in terms of like there was no pressure for sales titles or anything
Never.
like that. Never. Okay.
I'm gonna say I didn't have pressure for sales titles, and the stuff that I was able to pick sold. So it was a kind of an evolution, because in the beginning, that was never really a sales area.
Yeah.
Okay, and then I started putting films in. I think like really what really broke it open was probably...
Was it Cabin Fever?
It would have been Cabin Fever, yeah. And Cabin Fever, there was like a bidding war. Yeah. Okay, and it was insane. And this was a film which I had to rescue from the reject bin. It was originally rejected, and I'm like, no, this needs to go to me. Let me have a look at it. And it's like, this is funny. This knows what it is. This is hitting these beats. And when it played, it was a bidding war between a lot of big companies, and Lionsgate went for it in the end. When you pick a film and it's a world premiere, you're showing it to the audience for the first time ever. And that's when the life of the film starts. At that point, sometimes it's out of the hands of the director, it's out of the hands of the producer. Now it's in the audience. It's up to their interpretation. But then also there's this whole commerce and economy going on with, behind the scenes, an auction for distributors wanting to get this film for their various territories. And that can change how a film is ever seen or released.